Yo, what's up guys? Before I get into the video today, make sure you guys watch my last video. I know on the video before that I asked what kind of videos you guys would want to see on this channel, and I know a lot of you guys said like a draft video and just recapping like potential players the Bulls could draft. So definitely go watch my last video if you missed it. You know, I talk about some possible candidates the Bulls can draft at the 7th overall pick, and I'll probably make a part 2 for that video soon, so definitely check out that first one. But yeah, let's get right into today's video. As you guys know, there's been a lot of rumors about Jim Boylan recently and potential head coaches for the Chicago Bulls. And I've made many videos on this topic, and pretty much as the Sun-Times has reported, Boylan's fate is pretty much sealed after, a handful of Chicago Bulls players, including like our main two guys, Markkanen and LaVine. They painted a pretty bad picture for Jim Boylan. Of course, our tourist wasn't like talking to our players about Jim Boylan. And I'm sure a lot of the players, said bad things about him. Lauri was mad. Zach LaVine was mad this season. I'm sure, like, Thaddeus, he's been in the league for, like, 13 years now. And, he knows. Like, he said nothing but nice things about Jim Boylan because he's a professional and he knows, the NBA and how to handle things. But I promise once Jim Boylan gets fired, the truth will come out. Bulls players will start saying stuff about him, They're not going to say it now, of course, because he's still technically our head coach. And of course, like I've said in one of my past videos, Boylan was also dealing with like front office things and like player agents instead of coaching, and that took his mind off coaching. And of course, Jim Boylan's .31 winning percentage doesn't help either. And we brought in a whole new front office, so of course, I'm sure Arturis is going to want to bring in his guy. And it wouldn't surprise me if Arturis did, wait until the playoffs get over to start interviewing people, because who knows if the NBA playoffs even comes back right now. But of course, after the playoffs, I'm sure some head coaches will get fired and like assistant coaches, their contracts will be up. So of course, more names will be in like the Chicago Bulls job poll, to interview and research. It kind of sucks that Jim Boylan's, the firing of him is going to be a while, but it is better, we wait until maybe even like a great head coach gets fired. Why rush it right now? The Bulls aren't doing nothing. Well, we are in no need to, hire a guy. Sure, it would probably help, but at the same time, the Bulls aren't all in Chicago. We can't practice. We can't get to know them really with all this crazy stuff going around still. Like I said, on Chicago Sun-Times, they were also talking about like some candidates. And Joe Crowley also mentioned like how probably like the best head coach out there right now is Tom Thibodeau. And of course, he coached the Bulls for a while. I was a big fan of Tibbs. I grew up watching him and Derrick Rose and Luol Deng and Joakim Noah. I like Tibbs as a coach. He was always hard on the players. The Bulls they had some great teams, let's be honest. I do believe, Thibodeau did overplay Luol Deng a lot. He left Rose in where he tore his ACL with like 1 minute left in a playoff game when we were up by like 12. Tibbs has made a lot of bad choices, but you can't say that he's not a great head coach. Tibbs does whatever he can to win games. He's hard on the players, like I've said. You got to respect it, even though I do believe he caused a lot of injuries to the Bulls. But like Joe Crowley said, bringing Tibbs back isn't a terrible idea. Let's be honest, our team right now, we're soft. Lauri Markkanen, I love him, and Zach LaVine, but they're both soft, man. They're not intense like Joakim Noah was. They weren't like good defenders like Luol Deng, like Taj Gibson. Those guys were the definition of grit and grind. And honestly, if we brought Thibodeau back, I believe, he'd be hard on these players and bring the best out of him. But, the Bulls front office, I doubt we hire him. I do believe Tibbs is the best head coach out there. But Joe Crowley said, crazier things have happened. Thibodeau, I have seen he's been linked to the Knicks job. I don't know why he'd want that job over us, honestly. We did fire him, I guess. But I don't know. If I was Tibbs and I had to pick between the Knicks or the Bulls, I would come back to the Chicago Bulls. But who knows, man. And the next potential head coach that's on the Chicago Bulls radar is Kenny Atkinson. And Pimpin' Ain't Easy pretty much covered this. I've been saying this for weeks now too. I'm sure Kenny Atkinson will at least get an interview with the Chicago Bulls. Of course, there's also been a lot of rumors about the 76ers lead assistant. And of course, he's going to be linked to us because our new GM, he used to work with Philadelphia and he, had a good connection with him. And of course that could be a good coach as well. Another name that is often mentioned in the possibility of potentially replacing Jim Boylan is the Toronto Raptors assistant coach as well, and Adrian Griffin. You know, of course, like I've said in past videos, Griffin has played with the Bulls and he's worked with us. He was Tom Thibodeau's assistant. So those are like the main 5 guys. And according to Shams on Twitter, you know, he said recently that Kenny Atkinson most likely going to interview with us, and he has a lot of connections with us. And more specifically, he said Atkinson will be a big name to look out for the Chicago Bulls head coaching job potentially. So yeah, I'm just keeping you guys updated on the whole head coaching rumors and such like that. You know, I wouldn't be, mad if we brought back Thibodeau or brought in Kenny Atkinson. I mean, Thibodeau is, of course, a great coach. Everyone knows that. I mean, Kenny Atkinson, let's be honest, Kenny Atkinson had one solid season with the Brooklyn Nets. But yeah, make sure you guys leave any questions or comments below about the head coaching position. And if you guys would want to bring Thibodeau back or stick with or bring in someone new like an assistant coach, or stick with Kenny Atkinson. And the next topic in today's video is about former Chicago Bulls point guard Nate Robinson. He was on Instagram Live and he was talking about, his time with the Chicago Bulls and some of our players. And he said he loves the work ethic of Zach LaVine. And LaVine has proven that he's one of the best players in the league. And Robinson also said he can create his own shots for himself and others. And they also asked Nate Robinson what the Chicago Bulls are missing. And I've pretty much said this earlier in the video, and he said they need to get a couple of dogs with the young guys. And I agree with this man so much. He said guys that want to rebound, players like Joakim Noah and Luol Deng. They need somebody of that type of caliber of Chicago Bulls basketball. And Nate Robinson was also talking about Derrick Rose, and he said he would love for Derrick Rose to come home and play in front of his home crowd and ball out again and become a Chicago Bull. And Nate also said he would definitely pay to watch him play in Chicago again. And I honestly believe everyone would. Everyone in Chicago would love Rose to come back. I still can't believe we signed Tomas Satoransky over him. That's just crazy talk. And while talking about his time with the Chicago Bulls, Nate Robinson said that Chicago welcomed him with open arms. So it made it easy to play for a great organization. And he also said playing for the Chicago Bulls was one of his favorite seasons. There is magic when you put on the Bulls jersey. You feel that energy. I love Nate Robinson for that one season. I still can't believe we didn't bring him back. That is just crazy talk and super disrespectful to this man. I mean, he is pretty short, let's be honest, and he overcame a lot of obstacles to be in this league and be a dominant player at times. With the whole NBA playoffs coming back, I saw that they're adding 2 roster spots. I honestly hope a team signs Nate Robinson, man. He should be in this league. Same with Jamal Crawford. It is a shame that those two are out of the NBA right now. It's crazy talk. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Make sure you guys check out my last draft video. Thank you guys for all the love and support recently. Have a good one.